Hi everyone. I hope you can see me. I'm trying something a little new today, and I hope you can hear me. So if you can, just let me know. I am live today. We're going to work on the Hunter Star quilt that we've been working on, and I am using a new program to stream this live. So I hope it's going well. I'm sorry for all the feedback that everybody got prior to. So I'm going to grab my pieces and then we're going to go ahead and start sewing here. So we're going to put the blocks together. Now I did do this already and then I discovered that I didn't trim them down. And I was like, why don't these rows fit together? And well, now I know why. So anyway, hi Robin's Quilt Basket. Ohio quilter and textile artist, thank you so much. I love my new sewing room. So yes, so the moral of the story is trim your blocks before you try to sew them together. Otherwise they will not line up. I cannot believe I did that, but I did. So can everybody hear me okay? Hi Karen. I gotta find my pins too. We'll just use these. So for this, I am actually using pins. Perfect. Thank you so much for letting me know that you can hear me. So for this, I am going to be pinning. And the reason that I'm pinning when we start attaching these blocks together is so that it will, they will nest nicely. And this pattern is, I'm going to be really honest, this pattern is kind of tough, especially when you're trying to press it flat. I've had to use a lot of starch, and so I highly, highly recommend using starch if you're doing the Hunter Square or Hunter Star. It just helps things to lay down a little bit better. Also, I have pressed my center seams open. You can see that on both center seams, so I've done that. And the reason that I've done that is so that when I go to quilt this on the long arm, that it won't be so bulky, because these seams can get very bulky because of how many of them there are. And so that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how I do this. And we're just going to sew along. So if you're sewing something right now and you want to just listen or watch, whichever is perfect. So I'm going to keep all of my blocks with the cherry blossom up in the top corner here. I'm going to keep it going this direction. So I want to make sure that I lay my blocks out just like that. And I also have my lead, and this has been helping me tremendously. If you don't know what a lead is, it is a piece of scrap fabric that you sew on before you start sewing your seams. Usually works mostly with smaller pieces, but it works fine for these as well. So I'm going to put these together, and here is why I will be pinning. And I also use clips too, but so you see these two here, these two seams right there and right here, they need, right there, this seam and that seam, they need to nest together so that we can have our stars lining up. We want to make sure that our star will line up. So I am just going to nest those together, and I just kind of rub them until I can feel them locking. And that is what I'm going to do here. Although I think we need to bring it up a little higher. There we go. And then I'm just going to stick a pin right, oops. I was trying to stick two pins in one place. That's not going to work. So I'm just going to stick that pin right there and hold those seams together. And then I'm going to do that the same here. So you can see that there's another seam right here. Goodness, this is hard for me to do. Right here. And then we need to nest that one with the opposite side seam right here. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to do that all the way down. There are several of them that have to nest together, so that is the reason why we want to do this. And you can clip them, but I find that the pins are holding it much better. So I hate to break that news to you, but I know I'm not a big pinner either, but sometimes it really does make a difference. So, and then when I get to my center ones right here, I am going to take I'm just going to separate it right here. And these are the seams that I pressed flat. And now I'm going to take my pin, and I'm just going to stick it in the center of that one, just like that, so it'll be sticking out. And then I'm going to stick it in the center of the opposite side, so now it's in both centers. And then I'm going to take my pin, and I am just going to pin that and keep it like that. And that will make sure that those points line up. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin these. And this is what we're going to do the whole time, so just letting you know. It gets really fun and interesting when we start working and putting the rows together. It just is. It's a labor of love, let me tell you. So, and I still need to cut more pieces and sew them together. I am so behind here. And I need to start on the Bountiful quilt too, the charity quilt. If you're doing that one with me, I will be going live to do that one as well. I've got to get all that fabric cut and start sewing that. I'm going to show you something that really helps when you're pulling out your pins. I got this in my my Sew Sampler box from Fat Quarter Shop for the month of February. And these are like, they're thread hemostats, but I'm going to show you what I use them for. Because, and they do pick up threads, like loose threads, like if you have to rip something out, they really do help with that too. But look at this. So when you're coming up on here, you can just pull your pins out real quick. And that is actually what I've been using it for. And I love it. All right, we're done with our first block. Let me try and move you. My hands are in the way, so I just want to make sure that you can see what I'm doing here. All right, we got one down. So happy. I'm going to press that seam. I'm going to finger press it. And this one is a little bit off, and I'm not sure why, but I'm not going to worry about it because we'll square it up before we start moving ahead. But you can see now that my points are perfect. And that was when we pinned the flat seams. And then this is what what am I trying to show you here? Oh, I can't show you the stars yet. We're not putting those together, but these are going together. You can see that those are all lining up rather nicely as well. So, all right. Here we go. Okay. Again, we're just going to pin. So, and I am in my craft room, or my quilting room, and it is cold here in Colorado. I don't know what it's like where you're at, but it's pretty chilly. So you might hear the heater kicking on and off, and I do apologize, but we have to have some heat. Otherwise we'll freeze. So, shoot, that one's not lined up. Okay. I the only one who talks to myself while they sew? I find myself doing that a lot. Have to walk myself through the steps, I guess. And my husband is in his office working too, so you could probably hear him in the background as well. Okay, so we're just pinning, just like we did. I'm going to try to get my hands out of the way, but that's really difficult for me when I'm trying to pin these, so my apologies that my hands are in the way. Again, taking my pin, sticking it through the middle, and then going that way, right through the center again. There we go. I'm glad you're here with me because I really need to get this done. I have been, like I said, after I sewed them all wrong, when I was putting the rows together, I just put it down and walked away. I was so frustrated and mad at myself. But maybe that's what I needed to do. Sometimes walking away is the best thing, you know? Okay. This will be the first quilt that we're going to quilt on the long arm, the new long arm. Oh, I'm so excited. So excited. And of course I used one of the most difficult fabrics to work with, you know, batiks. But I do have my ballpoint needle, so I think we should probably be all right. Ouch, don't stab yourself with pins. I do that every time. That's why I hate pins. Always stab myself with it. Come on. And of course, you know, when I'm not on camera, you know I'm like zipping through this, right? Real fast. I'm sorry if the camera is shaking. Oh, it's hot. Bonbon, no, I am working on a Janome 9400 QCP, upgraded to the 9450. Hi, Leslie. I wish that I had the M7. That machine is amazing. I have sewn on it at the quilt store, but yes, this one is the 9400. I love this one too. It's a workhorse. This was my first fancy machine that I ever got. My husband bought it for me for Christmas, and oh my goodness, it opened the door to so much more, and I'm sure he wishes he never had. So, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, oh, what a difference. I love this machine. But that M7 is nice. It's real nice. Come on, get in there. Feels like a dull pen to me. Let me see. I'm trying to read your comments as I go through. Because I have the camera angled weird, I'm reading from the side, so. And I'm also blind, so that helps. Makes everything more fun, right? Okay. Did you all have a really nice weekend? I did. We had our grandkids all weekend, and their other grandparents normally watch them on Fridays and Saturdays, and then we have them on Sunday because we still work. And so, but they got sick. They were sick this weekend, so we just kept them all weekend. And they spent the night, and we had so much fun. Yesterday we went to the museum with them, and they really loved that. So it was a good, fun time. I just love spending time with them. They're so much fun. And you know, they're only little for so long, and then they grow up real fast. So I'm going to milk it for all I can and for all the snuggles I can get. Because I know there will come a day when they'll be like too big for that. Ouch. So I just keep stabbing myself with these pins. I'm telling you what. Not good. Not usually used to sewing this slowly, but with this pattern, I find myself sewing a little bit slower than I normally would. So, there we go. All right. I think that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, just 4. Okay. Nope. One more. Then we got to press these out too. Okay, hold on. I got to read the comments. Oh, that is so great, Leslie. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you guys had a nice time. It is Bonbon. It is a really, really great machine. Yep. I know, Karen, you do love yours too. They're fantastic machines. And, you know, I know they're a bit on the expensive side, but, man, I feel like this one is finally down to, you know, where it's a little more affordable. And it is worth every penny. I will tell you, I mean, if you've been following me for a while, this machine has made many quilts, and I have really beat it up. I mean, when I make bags on here, like tote bags and stuff, you know, you get sewing with some pretty thick materials with this machine, and it just sews like a champ. I have no problems. It goes through everything. I've sewn leather on here, you know. I've made a bunch of rag quilts on here, and those are real heavy. I've made t-shirt quilts on this machine. So many quilts. You know, and then of course these kind of quilts that have the certain patterns to them. I've pieced on it. This is my favorite machine for piecing, by the way, because it has the 1/4-inch foot, and this 1/4-inch foot, let me tell you, is a rock star. I have another machine in here that I also love, but I don't care for the 1/4-inch foot on the other one. I will always piece on this one, and sew heavy items on this one. It handles it with ease, no problems at all. And I assume that the M7 probably does the same. I think it's even more kind of an industrial professional machine than this one yet. Oh, I've ruler quilted on this machine because I have the ruler quilting set. This machine does everything. I've actually quilted a full quilt on this machine. I did the sew along for Fat Quarters Shop last year to support breast cancer awareness. and it was called the Support Group Quilt. And I got to tell you, it quilted it perfectly, just like it always does. Sorry, I knocked the camera. It just takes a little bit, you know, but I can usually quilt a big quilt on this machine in probably 2 days. Doing the free motion. Now, if I'm ruler quilting, it takes me a little bit longer, but that is a reason why I did keep this machine, was because I could do pretty much everything on it. And so, trying not to make it bounce, but it's bouncing. Okay, now we have our 5. So there are 5 blocks to each row. I've heard good things about the Brother SQ9185. I know, they're so expensive, aren't they? They really are. Well, Leslie, you know what? I started out on a Singer, and I made many quilts on my Singer too. So there's, you know, as long as the machine can sew, they're awesome. I feel like I didn't trim these right, because I probably didn't. It's too big. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to trim, but that's okay. It happens, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we got 1 row done. Yay for 1 row. We have 1 more to go here. 2, 3, 4, and then my other one is up here. So I have the first 3 rows. This will be the first 3 rows that are done on this quilt, and then I have to cut more fabric and start piecing that again, because I didn't cut enough pieces, which I thought I had. According to the pattern, I did cut out enough pieces, but in real life I did not. So yeah, and I have to do this one. I have to get this one right and make it beautiful, because this is a gift for somebody. And so, but you know, it happens. Not everything is perfect and goes as planned. So, as I'm sure you all know. Yes, Leslie, I totally understand. Yes, putting large quilts, or any quilt really, through a machine that doesn't have a very large throat is a very big pain in the rear end. And this one also, I mean, this one has a pretty large throat space in it. I think it's 11 inches, which is pretty large. And it was still a big pain for me to do bigger quilts. And so I was finally able to get a long arm machine, and I've played with it, you know, a little bit. I haven't got to play with it as much as I'd like, because, you know, life gets in the way. But I really, really, really love it. It's a game changer to be able to just put it on there. You don't even have to sandwich the quilt. I mean, you do it on the long arm machine, you know, on the frame, and then it just is amazing. I think that would be if you could do it instead of buying a fancier machine, I would see if you could find maybe a smaller frame to do that on, because I'm telling you, that's the way to go. It saves your shoulders and your hands, and it just saves you a lot. If I had known that ahead of time, I probably would have skipped on some of what I have as well, but you know, live and learn. So, and I know though that long arms are not cheap, but sometimes you can get them on sale really, really good. All right. Come on, baby. See, I screwed that up. Messed that up, even putting it through there. We've got our best friend, Mr. Seam Ripper. Better to rip it while it's new than to go all the way down. So what I did was I didn't sew straight. I sewed crooked. That's what that's good for. See? You just rip it out. You don't even need to mess with it. I want to make sure that those are still lined up, and they are. Okay. I'm not sure what my problem is here today, but I'm struggling. Do you ever just have days like that where you just struggle with it? It's like the universe is trying to tell you something. You can also use a stiletto to push your fabric through. And I do that sometimes, but I find that my fingers are what work the best for me, really. So we stick with what works. And we got it again. Perfect. All right, let's keep going. Oh, that's cool. Divide and conquer. The struggle is real. Yeah, it is. You know, I actually had Dime sent me a weightless quilter, tabletop weightless quilter, and it just attaches onto your sewing table. And that has also been a lifesaver. Plus, I'm going to tell you what I really like it for too, because what it does is it picks up the weight of your quilt while you're quilting it, and even piecing it, because they can get heavy. But it picks that weight up, and so you're not fussing with your quilt as much. I use it too, like for this design. I have this design going a specific way, so I just went on there and um, I hung my design on there so I could see it while I was making the blocks. And that's the weightless quilter, and it's pretty cool little tool, I gotta tell you. They have some pretty neat little gadgets today. Definitely not like when our grandmothers were making stuff back in the day, you know, and hand sewing. And I still have an aunt who hand sews, not hand sews, but hand quilts her quilts. She used to hand sew them too, but she said she doesn't do that anymore. Now she pieces on a machine, but yeah, for the longest time. And her quilts are beautiful. Actually, she is the one who got me into quilting, because I had not really ever seen anything like it before. My mom and my grandmother were seamstress, and they loved that. They were very good at making clothing. I cannot make clothes to save my life, so I don't even bother anymore. But they could make clothes like nobody's business. But quilting, they were just never interested in that. And I remember going to the quilting store with my mom as a little girl. And I would cry because I was like, no, I don't want to go in here. I just didn't, I had no interest. I had no idea that this was even there. So when my husband's aunt, whom I've known since I was 16, so I started at a very young age, she had all her quilts hung up on her wall, and they were just so incredibly beautiful. And I remember when her son got married, she made these little, a quilt for them, and then she made these little squares with hearts in them that she hand sewed from the same fabric as their wedding, and that was like a gift that you took away from their wedding. It was beautiful. I still have mine because it meant something to me. But I'm just so grateful that, you know, I found her. Then, you know, in my I've always been crafty. In my early 20s, when my kids were little, I used to love to go to the fabric store and look at all the different fabrics, and that's when I started. I started at about 20. That's how old I was. I first started crocheting, and then I started making blankets and stuff when I was 20. And it's funny because my mom has some of my mom was my guinea pig. She took all my quilts. Poor thing. It's crazy. But my mom, she has some of my very first quilts that I ever made. Like, I would make them for Christmas, you know, and give them to her or other family members. And I have to tell you, it's really funny to go back and look at them, because I'm like, oh my goodness, these were so terrible. They look so terrible. And yet they've withstood time. So no matter how terrible they look, just keep on going, because they get better as you go. But man, I'm serious. I've made some really terrible stuff. And because I'm self-taught, I had to learn a lot on my own by trial and error. And, you know, so that's why I share my wisdom on mistakes and things, because it happens to everybody. And especially when you're starting out, you know, you have a vision in mind, and it's heartbreaking when you pull it off and it's not what you envisioned. But it's still beautiful, and you have to just keep going, because quilts are not perfect, you know, especially the ones that are made with love. They're special. So But yeah, someday I'm going to have my mom pull them out, and I'll just have to show you what they look like, because you'll all probably go, oh. I mean, even right down to the colors, you know, because that's a learning curve too, is learning what colors you want to put together and what looks good and what doesn't look good. And I don't know. I think that might be why scrappy quilts are probably not my favorite, because I feel like everything that I did for a long time was probably pretty scrappy, and so I didn't like them. Now I like scrap quilts when they have a pattern to them, but like I've made some that don't, and they're just, you know, kind of thrown together, and I know there's a lot of people who like that, but for me, I prefer for it to have some kind of a pattern to go with it. And that could just be the quilter in me too, I don't know, but okay, guess what? One more. We've got one more. And then the rows are done. Yay! Sorry, my hand is always blocking. Probably should put this on my left side. But I wanted you to be able to see what I'm doing, so. There's that one. All right, one block left. So, this was the block that I had hanging up at my machine, so I knew how to piece it. So, but I think I know how to do it now, so I'm good. We can put this one with it now. This one is too big, maybe. I need to trim this one down, I think. I do. Let's check. No. Apparently I've already trimmed it. Okay. Always double check your work. It's better to do it up front than later. When in doubt, check it out. So what projects are you currently working on? I like to put a pin also on the edges here to hold them together, just to give them stability. Keeps the fabric from moving when you sew. Okay. Take those out. Okay, I am going to take this over to the ironing board, and I need to press these. And then I will answer questions while the iron is heating up. So let me just pull that over here. I have everything on wheels in my craft area, in case you're wondering. It sure makes it easier to move things around. And boy, I tell you what, sometimes it gets crazy in here. So it's really kind of a must-have. Okay. So while that heats up, I'll answer your questions. I'm going to pull you up so I can see you. There we go. Whoops. Sorry. Sorry. Fell off. Sorry, guys. Okay. That's awesome, Leslie. I'm glad to have you here with me. You're not working on anything right now, but going to, oh, I'm so jealous that you're going to a quilt show. I wish I could go to one right now. I love quilt shows. Oh my gosh, that is so cool, Robin. I have not, okay, I've not ever done a scalloped edge, and it is something that I want to eventually try to do. I haven't done that on a baby quilt. I've done prairie points on a baby quilt, but not the scalloped edge. I love Creative Kiwi too. They're amazing. Lisa Capin quilts. Okay, cool. I watch her channel as well. She's awesome. What's I gonna say? Yes, so I am doing the, it's called the Bountiful Quilt, and I actually decided to use the same, fabrics, my hand's getting sore, the same fabrics that Fat Quarter Shop used for theirs, for the Bountiful Charity Quilt. Benefits Make-A-Wish Foundation, I think of East and Central Texas. I just love the colors so much. They're called Sun Washed, and they are absolutely beautiful. Corey Yoder for Moda designed the pattern and the fabrics. So I think she designed the pattern. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure she did. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to getting into that one, which is why I need to get some of this done first, before I start, because I'm going to have two of them going at the same time. And as you know, that can be very difficult. So when you get too many projects going. So I have a lot of quilting projects that I have to do this year. The Bountiful Quilt is actually just kind of a fun quilt for me to do. I just want to do the sew along and whatnot. Last year I did the sew along with Fat Quarter Shop, and this year I'm not doing it to where I'm on a set schedule to do it and share it. So this year I'm just going to kind of do it as a fun thing for myself and for my followers, so that you guys can all, join in on the fun too, and we can sew together and chit chat and do whatnot. So also this quilt has to be done very soon, very, very soon. I am so dragging my feet on this one. And then I will be starting another one, another large quilt, because my daughter's friend is getting married. And so I'm making her a wedding quilt. And then I have a baby quilt to make because my nephew is going to have his first baby, or him and his wife are going to have their first baby. And my sister is going to be a grandma for the first time. So exciting stuff. So I have a lot of quilts that I'll be working on. The one in Dallas. Oh, cool. I have not been to that one. I've only been to the one here in Colorado. And that was pretty fun. That was a big one. I think it was called Quilt Fest. But it's been a while. Oh, yes. Me too. UFOs. They're everywhere in here. Actually, I have a storage bin in my storage room, and it is full of UFOs because I can't bring myself to finish them. Someday I will. Someday. I wanted to start doing that like every Tuesday during Christmas. That was my goal, was to get them all done, and then everybody got sick again, including myself. And so I was like, well, this isn't going to work. When I had no voice, there was no way I was going to be able to get on camera and show everybody. So, plus I didn't look very good. Yeah, I looked pretty terrible. So, but yeah, it's fun. I have a lot of scraps too. I bought a new scrap bin. I don't know if I've shown anybody that either. It's I got it at Hobby Lobby. It's a round, it's a white round tin can. It's super cute, super, super cute. And it has a brown lid that sits on top. I love it. And it's deep, so I can put as many scraps as I want to in there, and then I don't have to worry about them, which is cool. Because I hate looking at scraps. But I do need to hunker down and kind of get those cut too. I have so many scraps. Honestly, I could probably make 10 quilts out of scraps with the amount that I have. So, and I have sold some of my scraps too. So I don't know, I may do that again as well, but not sure. All right, so I am going to turn this right there so you can see me. I'm going to go right where that iron is, and I am just going to press these. And I'm going to move my chair out of the way so that I can slide. So this is my ironing table. And I got this little cart, in case you're wondering. I got this little cart from Michael's, and it has two little, they're not drawers, but like drawers, and you can put your iron stuff in there and whatever. And I just made my own top ironing table, covered it with batting and fabric, and that's what I use. So, all right. So I am working on getting two cameras set up so that I can go to different stations and I don't have to move the camera around, because it's a pain in the butt. Okay. I'm going to set that one aside, and we're going to press. So I'm just going to press these to this side. Oh, that wind. The wind is back. It was very windy here yesterday. So I'm just pressing that seam, and I'm using starch. Like I said, I have found that starching this quilt has been the key all along. And steam, lots and lots of steam. But I'm not using the steam right now, so. This is what I'm using. I'm not a big fan of this scent, but I'm using Mary Ellen's Best Press Clear Starch and Sizing Alternative. I'm gonna straighten this out. I don't like the scent though. It's Lavender Fields, and I thought I would love it, and I don't. So I may just not buy a scent next time. Okay. Come on. Work with me. Okay, those are straight, so those are flat, so we're good there. What's the hardest quilt that you've ever made? I can tell you the hardest one that I've ever made was a trip around the world quilt. I made it for my friend who was a Vietnam veteran, and I did it in red, white, and blue. It was beautiful. The quilt turned out so pretty. And again, I learned so much by making that quilt. I didn't realize, how advanced that was going to be. And I wasn't very advanced at that time. But I did love the way that it turned out, and he loved it, which is, the most important thing. But that was probably the hardest quilt that I've ever made. Even harder than the paper pieced Harry Potter quilts that I've made. It was by far the hardest one. So, I guess we could have probably pressed those open too. Why didn't I do that? Goofy. So, and I don't know that I would ever make another one. I see them and they look really neat, but I don't know that I would do another one of those. It's just a little bit much. Sorry, I know it's taken me a while to press these, but I want to make sure that this is, pressed right. And I'm going to take my time with it, so. You know how it goes. This is going to be one beautiful quilt, I'm just saying. I just know it is. I was thinking about using the same pattern for the other wedding quilt that I have to make, but I'm going to tell you right now, that is not happening. Nope. I'm going to do what's a little bit easier. Hey. Hey, Jax. Okay, one down. One more to go. I already have one that's already pressed out, but I'll show you what this looks like now. Now that it's on the row. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that amazing? Just wait. I can't wait until we start putting it together. It's going to be gorgeous. Oh, you're fine, Leslie. Don't be sorry. Yeah, the paper piecing can be challenging. It would have helped a lot if I had starched. Oh, cool. Robin, thank you. I will definitely try that. I'll get the linen smell next time. Or scent, sorry, smell, scent. Yeah, I'm new to starching. It's funny. You would have thought that I would have been starching the whole time, but no. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll press them the other way now so that they'll all fit together. All right. So I've started using my Oliso again. When I piece, I use the Rowenta because of the steaming factor in it, but I felt like I needed to change irons for this particular quilt. And I don't have any steam in this one because I don't like the way that it steams. I like a lot of steam. But I think what I was doing when I was steaming was I was also stretching my blocks. And so, yeah, so I switched to this. So now I'm just using water to lay the seam down. So that's another way you can get around it if you find that you're having any troubles with yours. Got all these neat little tips and tricks now. I do have to tell you, I love this cherry blossom fabric though. It is so pretty. All right. It's caught on my cord. Oh, come on. Silly thing. There we go. So we'll just leave that there. All right. So I have all three now. Yay! Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Leslie. Yes, I do love it. It is, we had our basement finished last summer, and best thing ever. I love my new space. It looks totally different than where I was quilting from before, because I've always been down here in the basement, but there was an unfinished, it was all unfinished, and so my craft room was in the unfinished portion. And sorry about that, my hair's in my mouth. My husband is actually, his office is over there now where we used to be, and then my grandkids' playroom is kind of in between. Okay, there we are. Sorry about that. And my grandkids' playroom is in between my space, his space, and then I take up most of the rest of the whole basement. Oh man, people actually joke about that because they'll be like, "Oh, I see. You gave her she took all this space and gave you this little tiny little office," which is not true. Because I was like, if you need more space, then I can, shrink down a little bit. But anyway, so we're going to have to pin all of these. Ugh. So I'm going to just pin. And all that we do when we pin is pin, 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 pin. So I'm going to just make sure that they're going in the right direction. And I'm going to lay this on my lap and I'm going to pin it. Make sure that I've got them going in the correct direction. And they do. Okay, good. So I'm just flipping them right sides together. Like that. And I'm just going to, again, I'm just going to line everything up. I'm just going to nest it and pin it. Nothing fancy. So, thank you, Robin. Thank you, Leslie. Oh, hi, Kelly. Well, I'm sorry I'm annoying you today. I guess you'll have to find someone else to watch then. But thanks for checking it out. Appreciate you being here. Oh, that's cool. That you're using your daughter's room.
Do you guys have any questions for me? Is there anything that I can answer for you? Forgot to pin this part. Do you all just do quilting, or do you also do other crafts? Because I like to do a lot of different crafts. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and finish this one, pinning this one, and then we'll sew it together, and then I'll show you what it looks like. And then I'll probably get off this live because I need to go eat lunch because it's lunchtime. I used to do cross stitch, Robin, and then now my eyes are so bad I can barely do this, honestly. This I hate pinning. Anyway, yeah, I used to do cross stitch and I loved it. It was so much fun. I've crocheted and knitted. I like to do those things as well, and embroider. So do you do machine embroidery, or do you do embroidery by hand? Because when I was a little girl, my mom's best friend used to buy me these little embroidery kits that you could do by hand, and I used to love doing those. Now I do embroidery by machine, but just because it's faster. Machine, yeah, that's what I prefer too. can do so much with machine embroidery these days. It's amazing. I embroidered a butterfly on the back of a denim jacket from my mom. She picked it out, and then I embroidered it on my brother machine. She loved it. She loved watching the process. I don't think she had ever seen me do anything like that. Oh, you do, Leslie? You cut? Oh, that is really awesome. You must be very artistic. That's a good skill to have. Hi, Candy. Thank you. How have you been? I haven't seen you for a while. Of course, I haven't been live for a while. Sorry. I'm hoping to go live more often here. So that'll be good. Saves me from editing. Lord knows I hate editing. Thank you, Robin. So my mom and my niece and I have started another channel. It's called the Crafty Author Crew. And that one is more for like Cricut crafts and things like that. But my niece is getting married, and so she is doing a whole series on how to do stuff for your wedding. And one of the things that she has started doing is she shows you how to make flowers, a bouquet of flowers for your wedding. And I got to tell you, I am really impressed because she's using those solo wood flowers, and then you dye them in acrylic paints, and they turn out gorgeous. I mean, I've seen them myself. They have soft petals. Everything is pretty. That's amazing. So, yeah, I have to tell you, I was very surprised when I saw them because I thought, well, probably not, you know, but yeah, she is doing a great job with that. So, but yeah, that's on our YouTube channel, the Crafty Author Crew, if you wanted to go over and see that, because I got to tell you, that is something. So I am just starting to sew again. I'm just going to sew the row. I use a 1/4 inch, in case you're wondering. I use a 1/4 inch for all of it. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm just going to keep stitching away. And I kind of wish that I had known about these flowers when my daughter got married, because it would have been fun to do that with her wedding party, to dye all those flowers. On the flip side of that, I'm glad we didn't know, because then that would have just been one more project for me to do. And when you're trying to do a wedding, you know how chaotic that gets. So. Okay, Karen, thank you. You have a wonderful day too. Oh, really, Leslie? You're thinking about selling your embroidery machine? That's too bad. They're a lot of fun. Do you ever make quilts with like Minky and stuff? You can actually embroider on the minky. It's a lot of fun. I make my my quilt labels with my embroidery machine. Candy, it is beautiful here today. The birds are out singing and everything, and but I can tell you we're expecting snow tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then Sunday it's supposed to clear up again. But we have been extremely cold here in the Denver metro area, unusually cold. So this is kind of nice. It's like probably 50. You know, the trees and everything are starting to bud, and so that's kind of fun. But yeah, I am making a Hunter Star Quilt. Hi, Del Marie, welcome. Yeah, I'm just working on the Hunter Star Quilt, chit-chatting, because, well, I need to get it done, and I just keep procrastinating and procrastinating, and so I thought, you know, let's just go live and let's just do this. Let's get it done. So Candy, are you going to do the Bountiful sew along with me? It's a free pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. You can use theirs, you can buy their kit, or you can use your own fabrics if you have scraps and whatnot, which I think would be really fun. I watched Kimberly make a pillow out of the first block of the quilt, and it is gorgeous. Thinking about making one myself. Probably gonna end up keeping that quilt for myself. Not sure. I haven't decided if I want to give it away at the 50,000 subscribers. Hi, Christian. Christian is my son, so he's the Retro Bros podcast. He has him and his friend have a wrestling podcast that they do every week. And he's a big WWE wrestling fan. So if you're into wrestling, Retro Bros podcast on YouTube. We got the row attached. Yay. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. He's you're so funny, Christian. Also discuss movies and TV and music, apparently. I should have known all these things, right? Okay. So I got the row done, so I'm going to show you what I have here. And then I'm going to press it. And then we're going to end the live for today. Oh my goodness sakes, look at this. This is going to be one beautiful quilt. Let me see if I can step a little bit further away. Not pretty. Oh my goodness. I am in love with this. Why do I have to give this one away? See, this is my problem when I make quilts. I end up loving them so much. But you can see this is why we're pinning, because it helps everything to line up perfectly in the center. And this is just, I just love this pattern so much. So I have one more row to do. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. And thank you for joining me. I'm going to go live again. Thank you, Candy. I know. Thank you, Robin. I can't wait till it's finished too. It's going to be so pretty. I'm going to put a border around it as well. So thank you, Del Marie. And so when I do that, then I should just go live and do it. Would you guys like me to go live and show you how I'm doing all that? Or do you like this kind of a format where we're just chit-chatting? Because I can probably work that in, and I think it would be kind of fun. And does this time work for you on a Monday? So just let me know in the description or in the comments. And okay, I will, Robin, for sure. All right. Thank you guys so much. You have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.